Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and today I'm going to take some time to talk about the Carlos Correa situation that is currently going on in Astros world. So, to really get going and talk about it, we have to take it back actually to Wednesday afternoon. Lance McCullers has just signed his contract, all the Astros fans are happy, we're on top of the world. And then it comes out relatively soon after that we had offered shortstop Carlos Correa a 6-year extension worth $120 million that he had declined. And at the moment, at that time, everyone thought that it had just happened, that it was breaking news, that he just declined it maybe a few minutes or hours before that news broke. Then it came out yesterday, so Thursday, the 25th, that it was not, in fact, that it just happened, but it happened a few weeks ago. And that there had been no more rumored contract moving along or contract negotiations since that contract that was 6 years, $120 million, that Correa deemed too low. So, then all of that happens Thursday, and then Thursday evening last night, when asked about it to the media, Correa responded with saying something to the effect of, "If the Astros don't lock me up long term, some other team in baseball will." So, that reads like a threat, and a lot of Astros fans now have knots in their stomach, thinking, "Oh, cool, we're going to lose Springer and Correa in back-to-back off-seasons, that's nice." So, all of that said, I want to briefly talk about what I think his market is going to be, and I'm going to briefly touch on all the other shortstops. And because I already had an entire video written out about Correa's potential, what extension I would give him, I'm going to talk about that as well. So Correa is obviously a very good shortstop, right? He's one of the best in the league, probably top 5, I think without a doubt. You can look at his numbers from his career OPS plus at 126, which for a shortstop is very good. Last season was a career high in defensive runs saved, which is insane because it was only 56 games. He also led the American League in defensive runs saved, so that's really nice. And he seems to just be getting better. The postseason last year, he carried 3 things into the postseason, which was his bat, a can of lighter fluid, and a bunch of matches that he all used to light the entirety of postseason pitching on fire last season. So, if that tweak that he made going into the postseason last year carries over into this season, you're having an insane shortstop on your hands that's going to be hitting like crazy and a very, very good defender. And that's great. That's what we're hoping for. With that said, you also would hope, if that's the Correa we get, that we get a contract done before the season really starts. So, he deemed the 6-year, $120 million contract a little too low. There was the rumor that it was not enough money and that it was too short. So, all of that said, I have a contract in mind that I would give Carlos Correa, and I wrote it all down, and I wanted to briefly, mention this. I wrote this in a comment to a user. I forget the username, but he sort of inspired this video, or she, or whomever. They inspired this video and made me think this is what I'd like to talk about this a little bit more at length. So, here's my idea for the contract for Correa. Now, again, I want to say, this isn't what I think is going to happen. This is what, if I were the general manager of the Astros, so in my dreams, if I were in charge, the contract that I would offer to Carlos Correa, that I think is competitive, helps the Astros, and helps Carlos Correa as an individual, wanting to make that cha-ching. So, it is a base 7-year contract with an 8th and 9th year options for the team to exercise or to decline. The 7 years is worth anywhere from $165 to $170, so about $23.5 to $24 million a year, which I think is fair. That's about $4 million more a year than what we currently were at, and I haven't gotten to the incentives yet. There are going to be obviously incentives in this contract. So that happens, and then after the 4th year, so the 4th year, the 5th year, the 6th year, there will be, or in the 7th year, there will be team options to end and terminate the contract if he doesn't perform up to snuff. Because if you look at his offensive statistics, his OPS plus and his WRC plus, they go up and down. Going off of just OPS plus, in 2016 it was 124. Side note, in 2016, and this is going to be important in a minute, he had a 124 OPS plus for a shortstop, which was 3rd in the entire league and 2nd in the AL, only behind Manny Machado. He also had 7 wins above replacement and didn't get a single MVP vote. In 2015, his OPS plus was 155. In 2018, it was 99. In 2019, it was 138. And then this most recent year, OPS plus wise, it was 92. And if you want to go by WRC plus, weighted runs created plus, which is essentially the Fangraphs version of that, It goes 123, 152, 101, 143, 80, or 98. So he tends to go up and down with that statistic. So, like I said, if after 4 years he starts to really go down and the productivity isn't there, you have some team options that you can use to, essentially terminate the contract. I don't think that would happen. I really don't. I view Correa as only going to get better as this contract would go along. So I just wanted to put that in there, that I would have some team options just in case something, catastrophic happened. So you put those in there, and then you get to the incentives, right? Now, normal incentives that baseball has been doing are sort of archaic, right? It's batting average, it's winning a Silver Slugger, a Gold Glove, or MVP votes. Maybe it's an incentive to win it, or to finish top 5, or top 10, or what have you. I don't want to do that, because like I just mentioned, in 2016, he was second in AL shortstops with a 126 or 124 OPS plus, which is fantastic for a shortstop. He had 7 wins above replacement, which if you go by the WAR metric on Baseball Reference and WAR Explained, that's right in between All-Star and MVP, and he received no votes. None. Zilch. I believe in 2016 there were 5 players in the top 10 with less WAR than Carlos Correa, which is, relevant. So instead of going off of those archaic incentives, you go off of things that he as an individual can control, Carlos Correa. Go by OPS plus or WRC plus for incentives. Go off of defensive runs saved for incentives. WAR, or on-base percentage. Go by those things that would give him incentives to make the contract worth more. Because if he's having seasons like a 2019 but over a full season where he's very good off or defensively and has a 138 OPS plus or a 143 weighted runs created plus, even if it's just 125 or thereabouts and he has a plus glove, I have no issue giving that Carlos Correa $25, $30 million a year. But I don't love giving that to a person who could be, 2020 Carlos Correa offensively. Obviously, defensively, he was still very good, and then the postseason happened, and he was fantastic. But regular season Carlos Correa, a 92 OPS plus, for a shortstop, you kind of have trouble giving $30 million to a shortstop that isn't offensively incredible, even if his glove is a plus. So, that is my contract idea that I have for Correa. I want to know what you guys would do with a Correa contract, like what your cutoff point would be. Like where's the point in a contract per year? And not even talking about incentives, just actual year guaranteed value per season that you would pay him. Where's your tap out mark? Is it 25? Is it 27? Is it 30? Are you a diehard Correa fan and have a shrine to him in your closet and it's like 50 million? I want to know what your thought is for the contract. And along with this, what do you think? Do you think that we're going to retain Correa? I'm not sure at this point. There was also a rumor yesterday that came out that said it would be, quote, a long shot to retain Correa after this season for the Astros, which I hate that thought because Correa is one of my favorite players. So, I wanted to make this video to put it out there and to see what you guys' thoughts are. And also to talk about the fact that opening day is now 6 days away. Next Thursday, the 162 sprint marathon of a season for the Astros and for this channel will begin. And I'm really looking forward to it. I freaking love baseball. I'm so excited. So, thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. And as always, go Astros.